Vivek Gupta has written in from Lucknow, and he says that in 2009 he bought a home in Pune for 23 lakh rupees. He took a home loan from SBI with an EMI of 21,000 rupees. He currently has enough money to prepay this loan. He wants to take a loan to buy a property in Lucknow itself worth 45 lakh rupees. Should he prepay this previous loan that he's holding and take a new loan, or should he use the money he has in hand to make the down payment and reduce the loan amount for the new property? I think it's a call that he needs to take, but what would be financially prudent?
You know, mathematically it works out to the same thing, isn't it? So I have this X amount of money, either I reduce my liability here or I create a liability there. Either ways, the total amount of liability is going to be the same, whether it's on one property or two properties. There's nothing that stops you really from having 5 properties or 10 properties or as many properties as you want and pay the EMIs for all of them. However, for the benefit of everybody else, it's important to remember it is only one property, which is your self-occupied property, or whichever you consider to be your self-occupied property, is that property on which you're going to get your tax benefits. You don't get tax benefits on everything else. All the other become your deemed let out, and then there is a different working and calculation that happens on that. But having said that, now what is the financial sort of wisdom in this whole thing? So my opinion is the strategy that you should use here is neither prepay or go ahead and just use that money for your down payment to the extent required. Don't use all the money also and try and take a lesser loan. Now we are making a very simple assumption here, as we understand from this question, that you have the affordability to pay the EMI. Now home loan EMI is a good EMI to pay because your asset itself is appreciating in value, and at the same time the rate of interest that you are paying on your home loan is way lower than the rate of which your asset is moving up. So example, your asset might be growing at 12%, 15%, 18%, depending on what asset you've bought, where is the property. But your loans are somewhere in the range of about 9 to 9.5% in today's market. So therefore, it's obviously a Faide ka sauda kind of a situation. So now, having said that, my suggestion is do not prepay the old one, continue that. Pay only the amount that you require for the new property. Go ahead, take your loan for the next property as well. Invest that balance surplus that you will have. Grow that money into equities, and whatever profit you make, use those profits to make prepayment. That way you'd be, enjoying the money, you'd be having your cake, you'd be eating it too, and you'll have 2 properties, you'll be able to manage both the EMIs, you'll be able to make your regular prepayments by the profits that you'll make there. Everything will work out, and all of that is tax-free. I mean, all the profits from equities are tax-free, remember.
Let's move on. Let's take another question. It's coming on our website. Meena says that her father has a flat in Mumbai which is mortgaged. Now the property has a loan of 13 lakh rupees on it. Her father died, but the loan had to be paid by him. Her sister is the legal heir. There are 5 siblings. Only her sister has a right to settle this loan, but she is not capable of paying the loan back. They have managed to find an outside party to repay the loan. Now, they've asked the outside party to deduct the loan amount and give them the remaining amount. Now, she wants to know how the documents will be made in this aspect. She also asks what is the procedure. Since the property technically doesn't have an owner now, the property does have an owner. Her sister is the legal heir. So, she becomes the owner of the property, right?
Yes and no, not automatic, however. And there is an anomaly in this whole thing. Only she has the right to settle this loan. I mean, I don't actually understand this. Maybe what the other siblings are saying, because you are likely to inherit this property, therefore you might as well settle this loan. Therefore, it is your responsibility. It's not that only she's capable. The others can also do it. But, putting all the family things aside, let's really understand. So when a person goes away, if the person has made a valid nomination, then the society or the association can transfer the certificate in the name of the person whose nomination is recorded in the society. So that's one of the prima facie rules. So go ahead and do that anyways. Also remember, now the fact that the property in the eyes of the society, now you are having a new member, that does not mean that the title has actually transferred to you. The title documents need to be transferred to your name in the office of the registrar. And for that, what you may want to do is, you might want to consider doing the probate or getting the letters of administration, depending on whether there is a will or there is no will. So if there is a will, then we need to get a probate so that the property technically moves to you. Because remember, you're going to sell it. Now, if your buyer is going to take a home loan, and that, not in this case, but again, in case of generality, when the buyer is going to take, he will want to do a title search. In the title search, the property will still be in the name of the father, although you have inherited it. So therefore, the probate is necessary. So therefore, the property cannot be sold till the time there is an owner of the property. So we know that the one of the daughters is the owner, but then it has to come to her name, and that has to follow a proper procedure. So society procedure 1. Second, you have to follow the procedure of getting a probate or a letter of administration if you don't have a will, and then the property will move to you. Then at that stage, when the property belongs to you, it's at that point of time where you can do any sort of an arrangement with somebody saying that, look, I have an outstanding loan, you pay the bank, and then you pay me the balance and things like that. It can't happen at this stage. Unless, of course, it happens on a friendly basis that this loan is given to you with at some interest rate and so on and so forth. So informal arrangement possible, legal arrangement will follow its own due course.
So essentially, KM Shah from Mumbai has written in and he says that he has taken a home loan from a bank. Date of loan disbursement is March 29, but the check was prepared on April 2 and was handed over to him on March 5. Now the bank is charging him interest from March 29. Which date should the bank technically charge the interest from? The date of disbursal or the date of issue of check? Now that's a very, very proactive, borrower over there, and I think he deserves an answer. What do you say, Karthik?
Absolutely. So, technically the day of disbursement and the day of issue of the check should be the same. Now, irrespective of when you choose to take it and when you choose to bank it is a separate matter. So the computer of the lender will start calculating on the date the check is printed into the check printing machine, which is going to be the date of the check. But then, it has to be disbursed. Now, why was there a difference between the time that it was printed and disbursed? Perhaps it is to do with something that, Mr. Shah went late or something happened and, he didn't get the check in time, whatever it is. So now, this is not such a big deal, you see, because all these systems have the functionality where there can be a manual intervention. So if your case is genuine, if you are, happy to do a little bit of discussion, maybe follow up once or twice
So
with the
essentially,
institution.
Karthik is saying follow up with the bank.
Follow up with the bank.